As discussed in part 18, let's start writing code for this private route. Let's import required modules here. This navigate allows redirection to a different route. And this outlet is a placeholder that allows child routes to be rendered inside the private route. Let's define a functional component named private route, which will determine whether the user is authenticated. Next, we are retrieving the token from local storage and storing it in the token variable. If you have any doubts about the token generation functionality or its validity, you can check out part 17 of this series. Next, if the token exists, it renders outlet, which allows the nested child routes inside private route to be displayed. If the token does not exist, it redirects the user to the login page using this piece of code. Using this replace, the current entry in the browser history gets replaced, preventing the user from going back to the private route using the browser's back button. Let's export this private route to make it usable in other parts of the application. Now, we need to make small changes in app.js. Let's import private route here. Next, below this capture route, let's protect admin panel routes with private route like this. Make sure you are closing this private route tag before fallback route. Let's not forget to add this capture page route inside this private route, as we definitely don't want anyone to access this page directly. Next, we also need to make some minor adjustments to the land to dashboard and login user functions that were created in part 17 in this API.js file. Inside this login user asynchronous function, add this line to remove the token from the browser's local storage. This ensures that, before logging in, the local storage does not contain a previously stored token. Next, we are removing user data from the browser's local storage, if any is present. Next, inside this land to dashboard asynchronous function, initially set loading to true. This ensures that, if the API takes time to respond, the user will see a loading icon. Next, after setting error to null, we will retrieve the token and user data stored in local storage. Don't get confused, guys. When a user logs in using the login user function, the response received in this function contains the token and user data, which then get automatically stored in local storage. Next, we need to check if the token or user data is present. If either is missing, the user will be redirected to the login page. Next, inside this try block, we are making a post request to the land to dashboard API using Axios. We are also passing the token in the authorization header, which we received in the login API response. Next, we are storing the new token received in this API response in local storage along with the user data and navigating user to dashboard page. Next, we need to make a very small change in our backend project's user controller. Here, in this land to dashboard API, the token is passed in the authorization header. So that, without a valid token, the dashboard page URL remains inaccessible. And if token is not passed, 401 error will be thrown, saying token is required. Next we are removing bearer prefix from token, which got added when we were passing token as authorization header. Don't forget we have assigned this token variable as let. Previously it was constant. Next, we have also declared the decoded variable using let and handled token expiration and invalid token errors separately. Remaining API is explained well in part 16, you can check that out. Let's not forget to make the important changes in the capture page. Import handle login to dashboard API function here. Next we will initialize the loading state as a boolean false to indicate the status of the login process. Next, when continue to dashboard button is clicked, we will call the handle login to dashboard function. Which will take navigate, set error, and set loading as arguments. Let's add a condition after style, that, if loading is true, the button will become disabled, to prevent multiple clicks. And when loading is true, it shows logging in. Here, we have completed the implementation of land to dashboard API in the capture page. Let's test it. Here, we are logging into the dashboard. Let's test whether copying this URL to another browser takes us to this page again or results in an error. While logging in, our land to dashboard API has also worked as expected. Here, after logging into dashboard, let's test if we get access to this dashboard URL from another browser. As we have written code, we have got redirected to login page. That means our private root functionality is succeeded. Let's start creating APIs for this dashboard page. By the way, if you have any questions regarding this code, feel free to ask me in the comment section.